How's it going, guys? Andrew here with Justified EDC, and today I'm going to be going over my favorite defensive fixed blade. And what do I mean by that? I mean a knife that is not a utility knife, box opener, Amazon package slicer, like this artisan sea snake you saw in my EDC update. But this is a people sticker. This is a backup to your concealed handgun. This is a self-defense tool if you can't carry a gun. Yeah, you guys get the point. But anyways, this is a Sosby Blades Cub, and I believe this is the first video on YouTube of this knife, let alone any of Sosby Blades. So, very happy to be finally getting these into the YouTube realm. I wanted to mention a couple channels, the Knife Junkie and This Old Sword reviews, knife reviews. They are pretty much the only two other channels on YouTube, other than a few odd videos out there of just someone that uploaded like one or two videos, that are really doing some good defensive fixed blade videos. I know the Knife Junkie specifically has someone like JB Knife and Tool, Bastinelli Knives, some smaller makers on Instagram. I'm not going to name all of them, but and then this Old Sword Knife Reviews has been doing some good stuff with Pakal knives, edge-in, that kind of stuff. So it's cool to see that kind of stuff that's a little more niche in the community on YouTube. But no one has talked about Sosby Blades yet, and they just happen to be my favorite fixed blade maker. These are all custom fixed blades. They're all handmade. And I've been carrying these for a long time now. This specific Cub I've had for a couple years now. And just to go over some specs, this is made of, we believe it is Nitro V, because he just switched to making these in AEBL this year. And I believe all of them before that were Nitro V. There were some really old ones in like CPM 154, but I believe this one is in Nitro V. This is about a 3-inch blade. You have a full sharpened edge here. You have a sharpened swedge on this end. You have a pretty neutral handle with a flared pommel here. That can work good in, obviously works well in reverse grip, edge out. Works well in reverse grip, edge in, which is my preferred grip for this blade. And then it also works good in your hammer grips, reverse and normal hammer grip. And then this divot here works really great for a saber grip. So one of the reasons this is my favorite defensive fixed blade is because it's not just good for one grip. A lot of defensive fixed blades seem to be made with the intention of only being really used in one grip. And I'll give you actually an example in another Sosby. This is the Sosby Shard, I believe is the name. And nothing against this knife. I love this knife and I carry it often, but this is pretty much only for one grip. This is pretty much for reverse grip, edge in. I mean, you can do hammer grip, edge in. And again, this is a great knife. And if this is the only grip you want to use it in, this is what you're going to be doing with it. This is a great knife. However, I like a knife that any way I grab it, it will work. This works in any grip that I grab this knife in. Hell, it even works in some push dagger grips. So that's why I really like it. Another reason I really like it is that I'm a big proponent of reverse grip, edge in, like some Libre, Pakal style fighting. And with this sharpened swedge, even when you're using the edge in, you can still use this forward edge for eye flicks and things like that for starting your entries. It's just a really nasty, nasty knife. This cord wrap is fantastic. It's thin enough that it carries well, but it gives you a great grip. This knife is not going anywhere in your hand. As you can see, I've used this knife quite a bit. Some of that's sheath wear, some of it is actual use, because I did carry this as an EDC blade. For a while I tried out using just one knife for both defensive uses and for EDC. So this knife has been well used and sharpened. This top edge hasn't needed to be sharpened because, again, it's really only for fighting stuff. And this edge has been sharpened, though. The Nitro V has held a good edge. I'm not quite sure what he does with his heat treat in terms of the Rockwell hardness. But yeah, this is just a fantastic blade. And I carry this. This has probably been carried more than any other fixed blade in my collection. So let's give you some size comparisons here. I mentioned this, the Artisan Artisan Sea Snake. So you can see this is a small knife, and next to the Cub's a little bit bigger. Still a small, relatively small knife. Again, up against his Shard. Actually about the same length. The Shard might actually be a tad longer. It's kind of hard to tell on camera. They're pretty much the same length. Here is a Gypsy EDC Tango, which if you're familiar with the Tracker Dan Blood Shark, this is basically just a blood shark that has been sized up in pretty much every dimension. So there you can see the Gypsy EDC Tango is a little bit longer, but these are actually a good comparison in terms of blade shape, because you again have that regular edge here and then the sharpened swedge. Gypsy's a little broader, hair longer, but again, this pretty much only works in 2 grips. It works in this grip and it works in this grip, because of this finger choil here with this peak here. I mean, you can do reverse edge stuff, but it's not very comfortable. So that's another point to the Sosby Cub. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about with this is sheaths. It comes with this just fold over pancake style, not pancake style, taco style Kydex sheath, which works very well, very streamlined. I believe it comes with a discrete carry concepts clips. It's been a while since I've used this sheath, but works great for inside the waistband. It's very thin. It holds the knife very well. No complaints about the sheath necessarily. But my preferred method of carry for most of my fixed blades these days is in the pocket. And that's where Offensive Industries comes in. If you guys aren't familiar with Offensive Industries, there's also not a lot of videos about them on YouTube, and I'll definitely be covering more of their stuff on this channel. But Offensive Industries makes these deep carry pocket sheaths for fixed blades. And so the theory here is you slip this into a pocket just like your folder, and this discrete carry concepts clips. Are you seeing a theme here on the channel with these clips? These are cloth grabbing clips. So you slip this in your pocket, that clip grabs onto the cloth of your pocket, and then the only thing you have exposed is that piece of the pommel there. So you can just reach into your pocket and grab it like that. And easy to resheath back into the pocket. And these are also ambidextrous, so you can put these in either direction, which is very, very cool. So you can carry this left or right hand in the same sheath, edge in, edge out. If you wanted to draw it in a more conventional method, like as an EDC knife, you come in here, kind of grab it with your pinky and pull it out, cut your box, your Amazon package, your Apple, put it back in your pocket. So these are absolutely fantastic sheaths. Again, nothing wrong with the one that came with the knife, but it pretty much only works for inside the waistband. So if you're looking for a pocket sheath, Josh over at Offensive Industries makes the best sheaths in the game, hands down, in my opinion. He does periodic drops of his own knives and his own sheaths for certain knives. You can do custom orders. I believe this was a custom order. Pretty much all of my other Sosbys have his sheaths on it. I know he does collaborations with other makers. This actually came with this knife. He did these in a drop. And then also here's another Sosby that has one of his sheaths on it. And again, any of these knives that you see in here that I've mentioned, if you want a full review on, I'd be happy to do a full video on them in the future. But yeah, Offensive Industries is pretty much the gold standard for me in terms of sheaths. And that just really completes this knife for me. This is pretty much, you can't go wrong carrying this knife. And again, if you have this, if you want to put it inside the waistband, you can. but this is my favorite way to carry this because I'm always carrying some kind of handgun, which goes appendix carry on my right side. I'm not really a big fan of carrying fixed blades on my offhand. I just don't. I don't really see the use in everyday life. I know a lot of clinch fighting and that kind of thing, and I occasionally will put a fixed blade on my left side, but I like having this on my right side with my gun, so I can draw both with my right hand. And when the gun is inside the waistband, there's not really a good place to put a fixed blade, except for like all the way on your like your 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and that's just not a very fast or consistent draw. Just being here in the pocket, you can have your hands in your pocket. You can draw this pretty covertly, tuck it behind your hand. There's just a lot of advantages to carrying this way. So these sheaths are great. But back to the knife, yeah, this is hands down one of the best defensive fixed blades out there. It's a real shame that this hasn't gotten more publicity on YouTube, but hoping to start that trend. And obviously, a main theme of this channel is going to be going over a lot of these smaller maker defensive fixed blades like this. A lot of reverse edge stuff, a lot of smaller makers. Offensive industries is going to be a big theme. So if you want to see a video on any of these other knives, or if you have any questions about the Sosby Cub, drop them in the comment section, and I'd be happy to get back to you. I'd happy to be doing an update video or anything like that. And let me know what you want to see next. So I will see you guys in the next one.